morning, Deped Dasmariñas, to all our students, of course, across grade levels. All of you, whenever it's Friday, pahinga muna sa modules, pahinga muna sa online class, because, it's time to relax and to unwind while learning. To all our parents, marami pong salamat for always supporting Deped Dasmariñas in all its educative endeavors, especially para po sa inyong mga anak. At syempre, higit po sa lahat, kung kanino po namin inaalay ang every week na streaming na ito upang kayo po ay gabayan, alalayan at suportahan dahil alam po namin na hindi madali ang pinagdadaanan natin pagdating sa profesyon natin ngayon, but still with our love to education, with our love to our learners, we make things possible to all our teachers in Deped Dasmariñas. Sa lahat po ng mga nakatutok, nakasubaybay sa Today with Deped Dasma, isang magandang Biyernes po sa inyong lahat. This morning, we will be talking about one condition that we embrace in Deped Dasmariñas as we advocate inclusive education. We would like to provide education to everyone. We would like to provide good future to everyone. And let us know this condition deeper so that we can understand deeper and that we could love and we could respond deeper. This morning, we will be talking about autism. How to, what are the red flags? What are the things that you have to look out for? What are the things that you have to do? What are the things that you need to prepare for in order for you to provide the love that your child or the student, the learner enrolled in your class needs? This morning, makakasama po natin ang dalawa sa mga tao na may malalim na experience pagdating po sa condition na ito. They have different backgrounds and they have different stories to tell that will inspire and that will educate all of us. This morning, to share to us her story as a mother. This is from a point of view of a mother. Ladies and gentlemen, the former president of the Autism Society Philippines and currently the committee chair for outreach and networking of Happy Homes Housing Community, I would like to welcome and help me in welcoming our guest, Miss Mary Janet Peña, and I would love to call her Tita Jan. Tita Jan, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good
Munir, is with
morning.
me?
Yes.
Good.
Morning,
Okay, very good. Good morning to all my friends, mga confraternity members, mga kakosa.
Tita Jan, thank you po and good morning po. Tita Jan, would you like to formally introduce to us the angel beside you?
Okay. Okay, si Munir, my second child. I have 3 children. He's 25 years old. He's right now my personal assistant. Okay. He was diagnosed at 2 years old. Na may autism siya. And he studied SPED for 17 years, teacher. 17 years. After the SPED training, he had early intervention, of course, and ended up with young adolescent program. So we graduated him sa SPED and nag-college siya sa akin. Yeah, nag-hands-on na po ako sa kanya since then. Ako na nagturo sa kanya. I proceeded from what he learned from the SPED. Ang dami niya natutunan po doon. Very valuable learnings doon. And sinama ko na po siya sa lahat ng mga engagements ko. Misyonera kasi ako. Kaya naging misyonero na po siya. And he learned so many things to assist me. Siya na po yung aking, sabi ko nga, assistant. wherever I went. Kaya mas lumago po at mas lumawak po ang kanyang mga karanasan, kanyang exposure. Kaya very flexible na po siya kahit saan ko siya dalhin. And right now, where I am a confraternity member, I'm a consecrated laity po kasi ng Sisters of Mary congregation. He is now an aspirant po. Really following. Yeah, aspirant, and therefore performing many spiritual exercises as his duties po as an aspirant po. So, ganun po siya. Very, very fruitful po ang buhay niya ngayon, and that makes me really, really proud of him.
Thank you so much, Tita Janet. Hello, Munir. Welcome to the show. And of course, if we have Tita Jan with us, who would share, her story as a parent, as a mother, we also have with us a professional, one of our. It's rare to find a SPED teacher today. Kahit po sa atin sa Deped, ang dami nating hinahanap ng mga SPED teachers, and we would love to introduce her to you. She is the owner of the Therapy House Incorporated and Play School Behavioral and Therapy Center. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have Teacher Joy Lacson. Teacher Joy, good morning.
Hello, Mami Jan and Minir. Good morning. Good morning din sa ating mga online viewers. I'm today with Dasma, sa ating mga teachers, and especially sa mga parents. And syempre, yung family ko sa Play School at saka sa Therapy House. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning po. Teacher Joy, later po you will be sharing to us, syempre po, your experiences as a teachers, and most importantly, the early interventions that our parents might take together with their kids should they see the red flags, red flags that we're calling. But for now, Teacher Joy, I will be excited. I will be excited for that, and at this point, I'll be makikipagkwentuhan muna po ako kay Tita Jan ng mas malalim. Kaugnay po sa experiences niya as a mother. But from time to time, Teacher Joy, I'll be asking you also.
Yes, I'm willing to answer.
Thank you, Teacher. Welcome to David Deped, Dasma. Tita Jan, you were a former president of Autism Society Philippines. Tita Jan, what is this? What is this organization?
Okay. Autism Society Philippines is a parent support group. No? So, hindi lang po siya locally, but nationwide. We created chapters to engage parents to be empowered caregivers to their children. So, we have a national office in Quezon City, and we have several chapters all over the Philippines po.
So it's a support group. How long does this organization exist po?
Okay, so it's more than 30 years, no? Just a few years ago, we celebrated the 30th year ng Autism Society Philippines. And it's still very active up to now.
Tita Jan, it's a pride for me when I was able to read that you were a former president. I was thinking, si Tita Jan ba ay president ng Cavite chapter or ng national? What scale did you lead po?
Opo, we started here in Bacoor. Actually, nagsimula po yung pagiging parent leader ko sa school ni Munir, sa SPED school niya sa Bacoor, sa Molino, which is Hopewell Integrated School. So, nagkataon po na na-bless kami with a director who was also very proactive. He organized the parents. We formed a parent support group in that school. And it became so active, it got the attention of the National Office of the ASP. The executive director came down to Bacoor and invited us, the parents of children with autism, to create a chapter. So, doon po nagsimula yung chapter ng Bacoor, ASP chapter. And it became so active, no? So many parents from different municipalities came down to join us. So, nagkaroon ako ng vision, ng drive, no, to create a chapter in every town para makater natin yung mga iba't iba pa mga magulang, no. So, yun po yung naging vision ko, and it came true po. We ended up having 14 chapters all over Cavite. And yung po mga parents na nag-join sa Bacoor noon, they soon became the leaders in their own municipalities, in their own chapters. Okay? And because I was so active, again, the national office, syempre, took note of that and invited me to be a board member. So doon po ang first step, yan po na first time po na nakapasok ako as a board member sa national office. And it inspired me more, mas lalo po akong nagpursige sa aking advocacy. And kaya finally, no, hindi naman po pinagmamalaki, but I became so equipped na rin po to be a leader and was elected as president. So, who am I not to accept? Parang inihanda naman po ako para sa position na yon as ganung gampanin. So, I gave everything. Sige, okay. And I was a president for 2 years.
Wow.
And after that, yeah, oo. And even then, as a national leader, I continued to communicate and assist and support the chapters. No? Kasi hindi lang po sa Cavite kami nag-create ng chapters. It's in Visayas, in Mindanao, we reached out to parents. Naging very, very full-blown po yung aming campaign for parent support groups and parent empowerment sa Philippines.
John, just before we go deeply into this topic, for the education of everyone, lalo na po ako as the host of this show, what is the politically correct term to address children with this condition po?
Opo. Yes, para lang po hindi parang nakaka-disrespect po kasi dati tawag natin mga autistic or may mga other parang bullying terms po. So, politically po, person first. So, a person with autism or a child with autism or any a worker with autism, basta po yung kung ano siya, mauna yung taglay-taglay niya na yung kanyang katauhan, kung ano siya, a child, an adult, a singer with autism. Hindi po autistic person or autistic singer. So, ganun, para po person with disability. Ganun.
Thank you for that. No? Because they do have their talents. If they're a singer, so they might be called as a singer with autism.
Yes.
And for our children po, children with autism. Tita Jan, you were so active. You seem to be so strong. Have you begun already that strong? Or did you also, I mean, nagsimula ka bang ganyan nakatapang, ganyan nakaaktibo, may leadership na agad? Tita Jan, how is Tita Jan during the early years of Munir?
Yeah, oo. So, dumaan din naman po ako doon sa pinagdaanan ng mga magulang na nabato. Okay, na medyo natulala nung malaman may diagnosis ang anak namin. But kasi maaga akong binigyan ng good news ng doctor na tumingin kay Munir. Sinabi agad, don't worry mother, mommy, natuturuan sila. Doon pa lang po, hallelujah na for me, na natuturuan pala sila. And thank God, kung saan niya ako ni-refer na school, we went there, hindi na po ako nag-atubili. No? So, pagsunod naman po sa mga nag-guide sa akin because it was the first time naman na encounter ko yung kanyang condition. So, happily, napuntahan ko na SPED school sa Paranaque. The director there, the time, still my BFF at Tina. Ginabayan ko ako, tinuruan niya ako. We were allowed to watch the child or to assist in the classroom. So, I learned a lot para kung isang taon ako nag-seminar. So, mahalaga po pala yun na may nakikita ka na ginagawa ng ibang tao at pwede mong gayahin at nakikita mo yung progress ng anak mo. So, para kung nadagdagan yung aking fervor. And since my background is teaching also, parang hindi na din po naging mahirap sa akin na sa bahay mag-hands-on sa kanya. Kung ano yung ginagawa sa school, ginagawa ko sa bahay. Pinag-iibig ko pa nga po, mas dinadagdagan ko pa para po mas bumagay para kay Munir. And then, hindi namin nilubayan yung SPED school. No? Because doon ako natututo. I needed to educate myself. Madami kong tinuro sa amin yung mga SPED teachers para ituro sa anak. And then, nung natatagpo yung aming parent support group, lalo na po na nakikita ko yung response ng mga tao na because the family, the community spirit, no, mas nakaka-reinforce po sa akin, mas lalo po akong na-inspire. And lalo na po nang lumabas na po ako ng school, lumabas na ako ng Cavite, lumabas na ako ng Luzon. Still, the parents themselves are my inspiration. No? Kasi lahat kami unang-una na kami, but there's really, there's light eh. Parang yun na po yung naging fulfillment ko na matulungan ko yung mga parents na makita yung light na yun. At for sure, I know there will be more of them. Hindi naman mawawala yung autism. So kahit nga po wala na ako sa Autism Society, tapos na yung katungkulan ko doon, mas lalo pa pong napaigtin yung aking advocacy ngayon because people are contacting me directly, asking for help, asking for referrals, at hindi ko po sila pinagkakaitan ng kung ano mang maitutulong ko. And I owe everything talaga po sa power within me. I was really empowered, no? And it's coming from a higher source na hindi ako ito dati. So I know isa lang ang pwede magbago sa akin. And it was during the journey na sinamahan niya ako. Kaya until now, strong and still kicking. Ayun po.
Thank you, Tita Jan. That's so inspiring to all our parents out there. You know, I know a lot of friends. Kasi yung age ko po nasa marrying age na rin po. All my friends have their own families, and I get to sometimes meet friends na they are worried yung anak ko ganito yung age na pero parang hindi pa siya nagsasalita, natatakot ako. Yung ganito yung age na I'm so I'm full of fear. And you know, hearing it from you, that there are people very willing to help, that there is this community that can support.
Yes.
It's really a sigh. It's really a relief for many mommies, for many families out there, especially dun po sa mga nangangapa pa lang, sa mga nagtatanong,
Yes.
parang minsan po kasi some of them are parang sa takot po nila, they don't want to engage yet in diagnosing, in making efforts for formal diagnosis. Tita
Yes.
Jan, I would love to hear a lot from you, and I am now giving the screen for you to share more about this condition.
Okay, gladly po. Thank you po, Sir Mac. Okay, so as I've said earlier na yung advocacy po sa puso ko hindi nawala. Although I stepped out of the major organization, yung advocacy po kasi lifetime yan eh. Why lifetime? Kasi yung autismo kasi hindi po yan sakit. Akala ng mga tao yan ay sakit or disease. Hindi po yan sakit na pwede mapuksa or ma-eradicate. Hindi po yan kagaya ng TB or so. Hindi po siya nakukuha sa mga vaccines or mga gamot. So, I believe that autism is here to stay. So, I know that the advocacy also will be here to stay. Hindi ko siya pwedeng talikuran. My son, sige, habang matanda siya, nandyan po ako na nakaalalay sa kanya. Yung pong sinasabi ko na they're here to stay, I would just like to share you yung latest na figure na nakuha ko po, na nakalap ko na information na hindi po nababawasan ng cases, dumadami pa sila. Right now po, 1 out of 54, yan po yung narinig ko na sa latest po na report. 1 out of 54 births, and it's worldwide. Okay? Ay may incidence ng autism. Bakit sila dumadami? For 100 years, nire-research po yan, sinasaliksik ng mga experts, scientists, wala pa pong tukoy na sanhi, na dahilan kung bakit ang isang bata ay pinapanganak na may autism. Okay, so yan ay inborn. Okay, at sabi ko nga kanina, it's a lifelong condition. That's why kahit na po yan high functioning or achiever ng anak, ay meron pa din po tayong alalay na ibinibigay sa kanya. Hanggang siya tumanda. Okay? Ako nga, even siguro wala na si Munir at manatili ako, I will still be there in the advocacy because there are so many children being born each day. They will be our followers. Tayo yung susundan nila. That's why each parent should be a good model. Dahil marami pang susunod sa atin. Hindi ako nananakot, but the trending, that's the figures is, mas dumadami sila. Sabi ko nga, God loves special children so much that He makes more of them. Of course. Meron siyang purpose.
So nice.
Yes. Special purpose ng Panginoon. So, malaking bagay din po yung faith ko, yung aking paniniwala dyan. It led me to accept my son, accept other children as our own. Okay? Now, as a parent, I'm not an expert, of course, hindi naman po ako. Ang mga ipabahagi ko lamang po ay base po sa aking mga past and early learnings. Napakalaga po ng early learnings and syempre experiences. I might have my opinion, pwede rin po kayo magtanong mamaya. So, simple pananaw lang po ng isang magulang. Okay? So, si Munir na, introduce ko na po siya kanina sa inyo. I should say na he is not an example of a perfectly trained individual. Hindi naman po siya pumasok sa regular school, di ba? Yan ang trend ngayon is to put him in the mainstream or inclusion. Hindi siya pumasok because may mga issues na I know as a parent, alam ko na he will not be able to cope. No? Hindi naman po ako so negative sa kanya or walang tiwala sa kanya, but meron naman po akong fallback. And ako yun, kaming pamilya. Okay, so, but I believe that he is victory in himself. No? Already, no? He's low verbal. Narinig naman, meron siya nasasabi. He's low verbal, but he prays a lot every day. Para yan, ano? There are signs of contradiction. Hindi nakapagsasalita, pero kung manalangin naman, ano? Na maririnig mo talaga na nag-uusal siya ng panalangin sa tulong ng pagbabasa. He's out of school, in a regular school for all his life, but he's very highly functioning at home. No? Hindi mo na kailangan utusan. He knows what he's supposed to do. He knows what, and he's very obedient. Napakadali. Very, very compliant. Okay, so again, a sign of contradictions. Akala natin yung iba walang silbi. Oh, di ba? So pinababayaan na lang. Sayang, sabi nga ni iba, kawawa, sayang. But no, sila po yung pinaka-maaasahan natin actually. But meron lang po tayong dapat gawin para po ma-develop sa kanila yun. Ma-develop sila fully. Okay? So, ang nature ng autism, yan po yung tatalakayan natin because autism itself is a very mysterious condition. Sabi ko nga, napakatagal na pong sinasaliksik yan. Pero if you want to go scientific, you read the books, you read, ang hirap unawain. No? Kahit ako, hindi na po ako nag-indulge in understanding kung bakit ganun yung utak, kung ano yung disenyo ng utak. No? But it is best just to understand the nature of the child. If you really want to help him cope with life here on earth, sa mundo natin. Okay? So, unawain natin yung kanyang nature. At pag nakilala natin yung ating anak, mas madali na po natin sila matututukan. So, spectrum po yan, sabi nga po, no? It is a condition, it's a spectrum. Ibig sabihin po, iba-iba. No? Although we will talk about signs that are generally observed in children with autism, mga senyales yan or mga red flags, iba-iba pa rin po ang manifestasyon niyan sa iba't ibang bata. Hindi natin pwede ikumpara or ihalin tulad yung anak ko sa anak niya. Sabihin natin hyperactive sila, okay? That's their nature, hyperactive. Pero iba-ibang expression ng hyperactivity, meron takbo ng takbo na hindi mo mapigilan habang nahabol si nanay. Meron ba makakita ng tubig? Hindi mo na mapukna sa tubig. So, sir, signs of iba-iba po yan. So, iba-iba po ang issue ng mga batang yan. It's a spectrum. To begin with, they are low functioning to begin with. No? Bata pa, wala pang alam. Talagang zero skills, zero knowledge, even zero speech. No? But as they grow older, they mature. Diba? Kasi naturally, they will grow older, tumatanda sila. Nagmamature sila. Nagde-develop sila ng skills and competency. These potentials, which are so varied, are discovered. And I'm so proud and awed, no? Amazed that these children are gifted with supernatural talents. Supernatural gifts. Bakit super? Sabi nila exceptional. But for me, it's supernatural, sir, no? Bakit? Kasi hindi naman, kahit mga magulang, hindi nila mapaliwanag bakit may ganun talent ang anak nila. Hindi naman nila tinuruan, hindi naman nila pinag-aral sa studio, bakit ang galing kumanta, bakit nagpa-piano, bakit, no, instruments, whatever field, no, name a field, nandun sila. They excel in those fields. Okay, so, diba, sabi ko nga, misteryoso. Bakit ganun? Sasabihin na out of focus siya, pero pag pinag-painting mo to the minutest detail, no, kaya niyang i-execute. Wala bang focus yun? Okay, so sabi ko nga, there are signs of contradictions. And I'm really amazed. Nakakamangha. Misteryoso talaga itong condition na ito. No? So they become achievers also. They up to and they become highly functioning individuals, from low functioning to highly individuals with autism. But there's a big but there. Okay? This all depends on the measures taken by the family, which is the primary caregiver. no? The measures they take, the steps they take to address the special needs of this child. Special, sabi nga natin, special child. Ayaw nila sabihin special child kasi everybody is special daw. But special because they have special needs. Hindi pwedeng itulad mo siya dun sa batang katabi niya sa school. Ipapasok ko siya sa nursery, sige na, baka ma-develop. But he has special needs. Pag gumalaw siya sa loob ng kwarto, naglikot, or nag-ingay, or umiyak, or nabunot, hindi pwedeng tratuhin lang siya na sit down, okay, o ilagay sa sulok. No? There should be a special treatment for such a situation. Diba? So special needs means meron siyang intervention, and the best is early intervention. Kung na-diagnose na or formally, or maybe kahit hindi pa na-diagnose, if you already see the signs na your child showing some signs of autism, agapan nyo na yan. Sometimes kasi pipila pa, ang tagal, no? Sometimes mag-iipon pa ng pang-diagnose. And lumilipas ang panahon, nasasayang ang panahon. The earliest intervention is the best intervention. So sad to say, minsan mga 7 years old na, no? O iba, tumanda na because of some issues with the parents, denial, no? Non-acceptance. So, tumatagal ang diagnosis, tumatanda na pala yung bata. No? Lumilipas ang panahon. Sa halip na siya ay natulungan mag-develop, lalong lumalala ang panahon niya. So, interventions and trainings. After the intervention, may trainings na yan. No? After the diagnosis, may trainings, interventions and trainings. Tumatanda. Katulad yung naranasan ni Munir, merong at the end, may young adolescent program na, may adult program, may mga transition. Okay? They should not be denied those, yung mga ganong programs. Okay? And support. Support coming from, not only from family, but community. Support from the government, support from church. No? Kaya po, dun sa aming support group, nire-reach out namin ang lahat ng sulok ng community, lahat ng sulok ng society. They should know, they should understand. Actually, not only autism, but all kinds of disabilities. Napakalakas na po ng campaign para makaunawa at maging accommodating ang environment, maging inclusive. Okay? So as I said kanina, lifetime yan eh. Yung measures na ibibigay natin will be given to him during his lifetime. We never rest. There's no retirement. Why lifetime? Kasi nga, no, the condition is lifelong. Even if I have meron akong kakilala, there's very high functioning, nagtatrabaho siya, he has autism. But he is single. So therefore, sino kasama niya sa buhay? Family pa rin. Family pa rin ang aalalay sa kanya pag tumanda siya. Okay? So it's lifelong, no? Bakit naman lifelong? Tita Jan, ganun ba talaga? Yes, of course, because the part of the body that is affected is the brain. Okay? Punta na po tayo dun sa physiological na aspect ng autism. Autism affects what organ of the body? It's the brain. Okay? And it's inborn, no? So yung brain na yan, hindi naman yan pwedeng palitan eh, di ba? Kaya lifelong, hindi pwedeng palitan, hindi pwedeng i-surgery yan para ayusin kung ano man yung sabi nating disorder doon sa brain na yun. And hindi pwedeng mag-transplant ng brain ng ibang tao sa kanya. Kawawa naman siya kung kaninong brain na makuha niya. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so, and it's inborn. Huwag niyo sabihin, ay, nung 2 years old siya, bigla siya naging ganyan. No, it's inborn. He was born with it already. So, yun nga, nakakamangha, no? Misteryoso. It's the brain that the Lord gave him. Yun ang binigay na utak sa kanya ng Panginoon. May sarili siyang konfigurasyon. Pero mamamangha kasi bakit lahat ng mga persons with autism, they exhibit the same signs, no? Iba-iba nga lang ang manifestations. So, hindi siya accident. No? Hindi siya accident. It's really, there is a design like that. No? Sabi nga, it's a part of diversity. It's part of human diversity. We have to accept it. PWDs ganun siya. Okay? So, the intervention, the intervention that I'm talking about, when does it begin? It begins at the earliest time na mapunan ninyo na may kakaibang senyalis ang anak or red flags na i-discuss namin. Papasadaan po namin ni Teacher Joy mamaya. So, or at the time when he was officially diagnosed, no, start na po ang intervention niya. And hope not too late. Not too late, so sorry. No? Kasi habang nga tumatanda siya at walang akma or angkop na intervention, lalong lumalala ang mga issues. At pwedeng humantong ang pamilya sa isang hopeless situation kung saan wala na silang magawa. Hindi na nila kaya. There's too much damage has been done. Ang tanda na ng anak nila, nagbabasag pa ng mga salamin. Wala na silang perang pambayad sa mga sinisira na. And he's already an adult. Naguhubad pa in public. Sometimes nagmamasturbate pa. Okay? So, the saddest part is they already want to surrender their child. Why am I saying this? It's happening already. Nandun na po ako sa yugto ngayon na I'm already face to face with those kinds of challenges. Maraming tumanda ng mga may autism na hindi pinrioritize, siguro hindi nabigyan ng pansin o hindi sineryoso ang kanilang intervention ng bata sila. So, minsan parente tayo mga magulang, okay yan, magbabago yan. Oh, okay lang, mabait naman, tahimik. Pero hindi pala natin alam, may kalaban pala na sumisira pala sa buhay nila na hindi natin na-address yun. So, ayoko sanang maging, I don't want to sound scary, no? But at best, I want to present a warning. Gusto ko pong mag-warning na, ngayon ko lang po yung sasabihin sa mga magulang, na kung hindi niyo po siseryosohin ang pagpatataguyod sa mga batang iyan, then we will be so sorry at the end. Okay? Pero ako bilang still in the advocacy, I really would, my vision really is to find help for those adults with autism na napabayaan, so to speak, na until now, no? Wala pa. Ano ang buhay nila? I don't want to see their lives go to waste. No? Lalo pat nakita ko yung anak ko na ang laki-laki ng pag-asa pala nila. No? So there is so much hope. That's why there is good news. No? Kung natakot man kayo sa aking babala, may good news naman. And what is that good news? These issues of autism na maririnig nyo ngayon, they can be overcome. Ang autism hindi po natatanggal sa utak nila yan. But the issues, no, can be overcome. Yan. Napagtatagumpayan po yan. At the child can be helped to live a dignified, productive, and best of all, a meaningful life. Yun po ang dapat nating sikapin na magkaroon ng meaning, kabuluhan ng kanilang buhay. Imagine naman kung tumatanda na sila, walang direksyon. They can feel that. That's why they're always restless. That's why they're always tantruming or they're aggressive and they're hurting. Because there is something that naturally hinahanap ng kanilang pagkatao na hindi nila ma-achieve because hindi sila matulungan mailabas yun. Okay? The brain that is given to them by God, obviously, kakaiba ang wiring, kakaiba ang configuration. I don't know how to explain, but if you want to research, meron naman po mga explanation kung ano yung mga hemispheres or something. Hindi po ako nag-spend ng time doon. Okay? Ngunit yung configuration na yun, yung kakaibang configuration or the distinct configuration ng utak nila, it results, no? Yun yung nagre-resulta sa kakaibang patterns of behavior. Okay? Start ko pong i-share yung aking PowerPoint, sir. Okay lang po?
Apo, Tito Jan.
Yan. Okay. So may konti lang po akong bullets. Ay, sorry po. Na-share ko ba? Hindi pa po.
Yeah, Tita.
Wala pa po, ano? Okay, sandali lang po, Nasyado ako na-excite. Inopen ko agad. Dapat pala, mag-share muna ako. Yan. Share screen. Share screen. Thank you for teaching me, Teacher Mac. Share. Tama po ba?
Apo, ayan na po.
Magbas na po ba?
Lumalabas na po.
Yan. Okay. So, kasi ang focus natin is autism. Yan. Okay. So, yan. Okay. So, as I was saying, it's yung brain, dahil yung brain po ang affected part. Okay. At yung brain na yan ay bigay ng Diyos. So, you cannot question that anymore. Yan. Kasi ang daming mga parents, sinisisi pa nila yung sarili nila eh. Or maraming sinisisi. Their past life. Okay. Huwag po tayo mag-dwell doon. No? Let's be more proactive. So, yung kakaibang configuration ng utak ng isang batang may autism, yun ang nagre-resulta sa kakaibang patterns, no? Ng kanilang pagkilos o galaw. Okay? Hindi lang, or behavior, yung po yung mga napapansin natin sa kakaibang nila, pati po sa pananalita o yung pakikipagkalastasan nila, ayan, communication. Sometimes baka yung Tagalog ko hindi appropriate, no? As yan na po talaga pag-unawa ko bilang magulang. At ayan, apektado rin po yung kanilang social life, yung kanilang socialization, o yung pakikipag-ugnay sa kapwa. So, yan po yung 3 main areas. Meron po tayong mga DSM-5, sir, if you're familiar. Hindi po ako masyadong familiar doon, naririnig ko, ngunit hindi po ako nagdudwell doon. Ngunit ito po ang the best way na maipaliwanag ko po yung kakaibang patterns ng mga bata nito in behavior, sa pagkilos o galaw, communication, yung pakikipagtalastas nila or pakikipag-usap, and then socialization. Okay, so bakit dito dyan, bakit ganun, bakit kakaiba? Okay, so ipapaliwanag naman natin. Okay, sige, admitted na natin na ganun yung tabas or wiring ng utak nila. So ano connection nun sa behavior, communication, and socialization nila? Okay, so ganito po yun. The best naalala niyo po na meron tayong 5 sense organs, no? Yung ating mga sentido. Ito po yung mga windows to the world. Yung ating sight, yung mata, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. Ito po yung mga senses natin na nag-uugnay sa atin sa mundo. Ito po yung tumatanggap ng mga stimulation sa mundo, right? Masilaw ka, yung mata mo, manasaktan, hawakan mo yung mainit, nag-recoil ka, napaso ka, yung smell, mabaho, nagtakip ka ng ilong, di ba? Ganon yung pag-receive ng brain, no? Dumadaan sa mga senses natin yan. Okay? So, alam niyo ang mga normal na reaction ng tao sa iba't ibang stimulation. Para sa isang batang may autism, kakaiba ang reaction niya, no? Kaya doon tayo magtataka, no? Bakit nadapa na nasugatan na, dapat umiiyak siya pero hindi, tumatawa siya. Di ba? Ang init pero nakapaa siya imbis na makaso siya, mainit, maano siya. Sige pa rin ang lakad niya. So there are so many examples, and parents, mind you, I know you can imagine as many examples as you have observed in your child. So I will just go on discussing, and you just imagine your child, okay? Because your child is your best example. Okay? So the child is confused to begin with. Hindi niya alam how to react to the stimulations iba-iba, no? And then pagka papinuna siya or minsan napapagalitan sila, bakit ganon, bakit ganyan ka? Kasi iba yung ginawa niya, iba yung reaction niya. So the child becomes confused if he is not guided do sa kanyang behavior or do sa pananalita niya. So the child is a very confused child. Okay? So halimbawa po ito, para po ayan, okay? Ito mga halimbawa. Halimbawa po. When a CWA or a child with autism faces a situation that is new, bago sa kanya, no? Hindi niya kinasanayan, unfamiliar, pumunta sa lugar na ngayon lang niya nakita, unexpected, hindi yan ina-expect niya, akala ko dito tayo pupunta, ba tayo nandito? Okay? Or unpredictable, hindi niya pumapredict yan, yung mga situations na ganyan. He finds the situation uncomfortable, threatening, and aversive, siguro para sa atin din. Pero ang reaction niya, maaring umiyak siya, o sumigaw. Okay? Okay lang sana sumigaw. Paano kung nasa simbahan siya sumigaw, di ba? So, you find it inappropriate. Whining, iiring-iring, or withdrawing, tatakbo na lang, aalis, iwan kayo, running away, yan. Hurting, pwede siyang manakit, no? Laughing, and many others, no? Okay. Parents, alam niyo po yan. So, to an observer, kahit mga unang magulang na nagmamanman sa kanilang anak, the reaction of that child is unexpected. Bakit ganun yun? Hindi kasi ganun yung isa kong anak. Hindi naman ganun yung iba naming anak. Mga klase niya, hindi naman ganun. Incomprehensible, ang hirap unawain. Bakit? Inappropriate. Ayan. Wala sa oras, wala sa lugar, yung kanyang reaction. And unacceptable. Ito po yung masakit. Yan. Ito po yung pinakahuli. Kasi once na kakaiba ang reaction, or nagiging disturbing reaction, nagiging unacceptable. Diyan po nagsisimula yung unacceptance ng mga tao, hirap nilang tanggapin, hirap nilang i-love yung bata, no? Pag tumatanda, nabubuli na kasi iba siya, ganun, nabubuli, natutukso. Kaya tayo ay may panata tayo diyan. Okay? Okay, so and I will not dwell on that, and that's another forum siguro, no, yung mga. Okay, so the other common observations and issues with them. Si Munir po yan, kamay ni Munir yan. No? Isang beses na very busy ako na gumagawa ng PowerPoint at tahimik siya. Nung sinilip ko, wow, may ginagawa pala siya. So thankful na meron siyang initiative na gumawa ng something na ikakabisi rin niya, no? Pero ito po yung common observations and issues sa kanila. Poor in sitting, na di-discuss ni Chujo mamaya. Bakit? Poor in sitting, hindi sila mapakali. Kaya yan po, poor in sitting, poor in waiting, hindi makahintay, lagi pong iring-iring, nagmamaktol or ano ba yon yung pag hindi makahintay, ayan na, hindi makahintay ng kanyang turn, o kaya nakapila yung magulang sa McDo, no? Naninipa na siya, o iyak na siya ng iyak, poor in approach request, yan. Ito po mga bagay na to, very basic to sa SPED, sa early intervention. Yan po ang unang inaatake ng mga professionals natin, mga therapists natin. Kasi paano mo nga naman matuturuan kung hindi mapaupo? Yan, okay. So yan ang hirap sa kanila, no? But they have reasons for this. Mamaya maintindihan natin. Bakit bang hirap paupuin? Bakit hindi makahintay? Okay. And there are other issues. May mga issues sila sa focusing. Sabi nila out of focus, cannot focus, which is true, no? Ang hirap nilang turuan kasi ang ikli ng attention span nila. Konting minutos, gusto nilang umalis, parang wala silang interest, okay? So bakit gano'n? Wala silang focus. Imagination. Hirap silang mag-imagine na maaaring itong mangyari. Ganyan. So, or prediction, hirap din po silang mag-predict, flexible, common sense. Yan po mga issues na parang wala sa kanila. Or maybe lack of flexibility. Ayaw nila nga na may nababago kung ano yung nakasanayan nila doon lang. Magwawala na pag kami na iba. Common sense. Now, these things, focusing, imagination, there are many other faculties na nahihirapan sila. Pero, hindi dahil ganyan sila ay, we'll take them as, yan na, ganyan na sila. Natututunan din po ma-overcome yung mga yan. Natuturuan po yan. As I said, malaki po ang ginagawa ng SPED as their foundation, their training. Bakit SPED? Kasi tayo mga magulang, wala tayong alam. Let's take it. Wala tayong alam hanggat wala tayong nakikitang teacher na nagtuturo sa anak natin. Wala tayong idea how. Kaya very, very thankful po ako. Love na love ko po yan si Teacher Joy talaga ever since. Love ko po lahat ng mga SPED teachers na yan po yung pinadala ng Diyos para tayo ay turuan. Yan. Let us love them. Okay? So, ano pa? Ito pang other observable behaviors. No? Naku, ano ginawa niya sa clay? They're restless, no? Flighty. Okay? Lakad na lakad, takbo na takbo, silip ng silip dito, or hindi mapakali. Ayun, hindi mapakali. Destructive. Dahil nakaka-distract na sila, no? Sa mga gawin nila or sa mga pananalita nila. Okay, we'll have more samples later. And destructive, nakakasira na sila. No? Marami silang bagay na nasisira. I don't know, but it seems na yung kamay nila parang may some energy or hidden power na hawakan lang nila or matagal nilang hawak, mamaya sira na. Okay. No? Yung anak ko, si Munir, for many years kami lang lagi magkasama sa kotse. Pero yung upuan ko, preserve na preserve pa, maayos pa. Yung upuan niya butas na. Pero nakaupo lang naman siya. Di ba? Grabe po. No? Many examples po. No? So sabi ko parang they are meron silang super strong energy or power within themselves na I don't know, hindi kaya ng material world. They tend to be aggressive or violent and injurious. Ito po yung mga bagay na tatanong ko, ginusto ba nila maging destructive or aggressive or mapanakit? No, hindi po nila ginusto yan. Nangyari lang po, lumalabas po yan because katulad po sinabi ko kanina, may communication issue sila, hindi nila ma-express. Kasi under communication, maaari hindi po sila nagsasalita. Maaaring sasalita sila, ecolalic lang, paulit-ulit lang. Hindi nila ma-express yung sarili nila. But they want to get across. Hindi nila masabi yung gusto nila. Kaya minsan namamato. O, sasabunutan ka. Tapos pagka sinabunutan ka, mami, bigla mong binigay yung gusto niya. O, so, para sa kanya, ayun ang pamamaraan para makuha ang gusto niya, sasabunutan kita. Nauulit, na-reinforce. Diba? Yes.
Thank you, Tita Zad, for highlighting.
Yes, okay. So, marami tayong nare-reinforce na mga behaviors nila dahil gusto nating i-spoil, gusto nating masunod sila. They're already manipulating us. That's another term. I like it very much because it's very true. They are manipulative. They are actually intelligent and alam nila how to get what they want. Pero pag hindi natin sila tuturuan the appropriate way, ay lalaki po sila na ganyan. Lalaki po sila na para makuha ang pansin natin, magbabasag. Yan, okay? So, yan po, kaya dapat po ito binabantayan natin itong mga ganitong tendencies. Ayaw natin na tumanda sila, nadala-dala ka nila yan. As I said, na-overcome po yan. Okay, so ito na po, mabilis na lang po ito since Teacher Joy will also be expounding on this. Ito po yung nature of a child with autism. As I said earlier, hindi na natin uunawain kung ano yung autism mismo, unawain na lang natin yung bata, ano ang nature niya. Okay, so ito na po. Parents, I know, oobserbahan nyo din po ito sa mga anak ninyo. But for those like teachers na katulad ng aking brother na siguro nakikinig ngayon, teacher siya sa ALS, no? Baka wala naman siya exposure masyado sa mga special children yan. You will find this very beneficial. Brother Cyrus, ready ka na? Okay. A world of his own. Yan. Actually, the word autism comes from the word auto, which means self. Autism means having a world of his own. May sarili siyang mundo. Naku, hindi naman po ibig sabihin na galing sila sa ibang planeta or, dali lang po si Munier, nagko-cross. Okay, hindi sila galing sa ibang planeta, ha? Kasi world of his own, eh. Alam niyo po ba, nung bata yan si Munier, dahil nangangapa ako at gusto ko unawain, meron akong kapitbahay na sabi, ay, dali mo sa espiritista, kasi ganyan magsalita. Naku, dinala namin sa espiritista, no? Sabi agad ng espiritista, ay, alien! Kasi ba't ganyan magsalita? Achuchuchuchucha, gano'n. Alien daw. Naku, kung naniwala ako na alien nga ang anak ko, ay baka bumalik na kami sa Mars o kung saan man planeta siya galing. Okay. Anyway, buti na lang hindi ako naniwala sa kanya. But it's true, they have a world of its own. And this is not really the world. I may sound quite religious about this, no? Kasi sabi natin mga angels sila, may angels walk, di ba? And you mentioned earlier, pakilala ko yung anghel na katabi ko. I came already to believe na in one of those nights, nagising siya, nag-aalburuto siya, nagwawala siya, na tinanong ko na talaga ang Diyos, ano po ba ito? Nangungusap naman ang Diyos. No? Okay, so sige, they have a world of its own. This is not their world. Okay? But hindi yun yung alien or ibang planeta or what you're thinking. So, then I came to believe na, okay, so the world they came from, kakaiba ang atmosphere doon, kakaiba environment, siguro tahimik doon, kaya dito, konting sound lang dito sa mundo, ang sakit-sakitan ng tenga nila, okay, siguro sa pinanggalingan nila, wala naman silang pangalan, kaya dito sa mundo, pag tinawag mo sila, hindi sila tumitingin, hindi lumilingon, okay, kasi ganun nakala natin bingi, ba't tinatawag ko muna hindi tumitingin, siguro kasi yung mundong pinanggalingan nila is walang pangalan silang ganun. Okay. Okay, ang dami-dami ko pa pong kwento tungkol dito. Very interesting po yan. O world of its own. O may sarili silang mundo. Okay. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Ayan. Kaya po sila minsan ay aloof or snobbish. Hindi nila alintana yung mga tao. Socially, sabihin natin, disturb naman yan. O sabihin, yabang naman yan. Okay. Hindi namamansin. Okay. Pero pansinin nyo naman po, at sasagot naman sila. Okay. They just need someone to initiate a contact and they will learn also to greet back. Okay? So para siyang aloof. Because for him, yung pagka nasa sariling mundo siya, wag niyo akong no intrusion please. Dito ako nagko-concentrate ako sa sarili ko. Ito lang iniisip ko. Wag kayong pumasok, masisira yung concentration ko. Or wag niyo akong tanungin, something like that. Okay? So kahit nasa party sila, minsan bakit biglang nawawala. Yung pala, natuturete na siya. There's overload already of stimulation at the back or around, mga noises, music, different colors, ang daming nagaganap, hindi niya nakaya. Hindi kaya nung utak niya tanggapin yung sabay-sabay na stimulation. Remember, it's a sensory issue. May naririnig siya, may nakikita, may nararamdaman. Hindi niya ma-process yan. The brain is unable to process all the stimulation simultaneously na kagaya natin. Sa atin, okay lang yan. Sige, the more music, the merrier. Pero sa kanila, maaari po silang mabalisa doon. Okay? So, mas gusto nilang lumayo. Kaya yung magwawala, iiyak. Pag umiyak, ay. O, di kukunin ng nanay, ilalagay sa kotse, ilalayo, tatahimik na siya. Okay? That's already a proof na mas gusto nila yung nasa sarili sila, nag-iisa sila or walang intrusions. Okay? Then, no eye contact. Okay? Bakit kaya? Isa pa rin, bakit ang hirap? Pagka tinuturuan sila ni na Teacher Joy, sinasabihan, look at me at the eyes. Parang tinuturuan sila mag-establish ng eye contact. Hirap sila. It's either nakatingin sa baba, nakatingin sa taas. No? Tanungin mo siya, nakatingin sa taas, umiiwas. So, tinuturuan silang i-stable yung ulo. Okay? So, hindi naman masama na wala silang eye contact. I believe, it's just that their way of concentrating on something. If they want to answer a question, it's taking time to process the question and taking time to grasp the word to say. They might look up in the ceiling, tumingin sa taas, and trying to imagine the shape of the apple or the letters, the words of the apple, reading apple para siya makasagot. And then sasabihin ng teacher, look at me in the eyes. Ayun, so nag-stop na siya. Hindi na siya nakasagot. Sorry, hindi lang teacher, pati ako, pati pala magulang, gano'n, ano. So, it's not bad naman na walang eye contact. Sometimes, they are able to think better when they are not looking at us. Okay? Acts like deaf, parang bingi. Totoo po yan. Si Munir, when I started calling him, nung bata siya, hindi siya tumitingin. Bakit gano'n, Munir, Munir? So unlike the sister, the elder sister. Okay? Pero, so akala natin bingi. Pero hindi. At pagka nagbukas ako ng candy, yung tunog ng wrapper, ba? Andiyan na sa tabi ko. So he can associate a sound with something reinforcing or a reward. So hindi siya bingi. So hindi ako gumastos dun sa mga ano pa ba yung examination sa tenga na mahal, yung mga ganun. Hindi na po. Very sharp, no? And then acts like that, actually again contradiction. Minsan parang bingi sila sa certain. Minsan naman ay napaka-sensitive sa slightest sound. Ultimo, let's say, ambon. Napakasarap pakinggan, nakakatulog ka sa ambon siya. May isang bata naman nagwawala pag umaambon. Why? Because the brain process that the rain, yung sound ng rain na yun, parang ratatat ng machine gun. Yun ang register sa kanyang brain. See? Nakapagtaka, di ba? So, ikaw, makarinig ka ng ratatat ng machine gun, anong gagawin mo, di ba? Sisigaw ka, iiyak ka, ganyan na. Okay. So, bakit gano'n yan? Okay, so contradictions or contrast, di ba? So sometimes, nakakatulog naman sa maingay na tunog. Halimbawa, nagba-vacuum ka, nakakatulog naman siya. Patunog ka naman ng grinder, ng electric grinder, yung ano ba yun, austerizer, ako po bigla naman magwawala. So, yan ang mga manifestations, ano? Sa hearing yan, okay? Uses people as tools because they are unable to communicate, tas nakikita nila tayo yung gumagalaw, tayo yung nagpapatay ng ilaw, tayo yung nagbubukas ng pinto, no? So, alam niya na, ay, si mama ang magbubukas ng pinto. So, hilahin niya ang kamay ni mama. Ihahagis doon sa knob para buksan. Without him realizing that kaya niya palang gawin yon. But that's his learning. Nakita niya na tayo ang gumagawa. So, he is more than loving. Sabi ng mga parents, hindi ako mahal ng anak ko. Hindi siya nagsasabi sa akin, I love you, hindi niya ako niyayakap. And those are all sensory issues. No? Let's not take that against them. Okay? So, uses people as tools, not cuddly or over clingy. Again, that's a sensory issue. Ang hirap nilang pangkuhin or minsan yakap-yakap mo, hawak mo or hug-hug mo, mamaya-maya tinutulak ka na. Ayaw. Kung bumiglas, sensory issue, so they feel suffocated siguro. No? Okay, I can just imagine, maybe nakaka-suffocate para sa kanila yun, hindi sila makahinga, or just socially get off. Pero, may opposite naman din po, yung meron naman din pang mga over-clingy, no? Matanda na, lagi pa nakayapo sa ina, ganyan. Okay? Okay, so, iba naman po yun, pagka tumanda na, pag bata, okay pa na lagi nakayapos, pero kung matanda na, and especially sa public, kung yumayapos pa din, iba na po yun. Okay? So, even that has to be overcome. Okay? What else? No fear of dangers. Oh, this is very true. Hindi naman sila siga, o hindi naman sila matapang, no? But they just have no awareness of danger. Hindi nila alam na delikado pala yung ginagawa nila. Kaya nga tayo, mapasok, ay, baka mahulog. Because hindi nila alam na dangerous yun. They don't have that sense of danger. Siguro, pagka naranasan na lang nila yung consequence ng yung ginawa nila, nalaman nila na dangerous, doon lang sila pwedeng matuto. Okay? Si Munir, madami pong chance. Si Munir po, tumalon na po from above sa isang resort, tumalon po yan sa taas. Supposed to be, like, viewing deck lang yun, tumalon sa baba sa pool. Salamat na lang po may anghel na sumapo sa kanya, hindi siya tumama doon sa, he didn't know. For him, gusto lang niyang tumalon kasi tubig yun. Pero hindi niya alam na bato yung babagsak kanya pag nagkamali siya ng bagsak, di ba? Okay, so marami pong mga kapahamakan na nadulot yan, yung no fear of danger. Sa mga bata, basta na lang lumalabas ng bahay because they want to explore. Kasi nga, as I said, yung drives naman nila are normal. They also want to view the world. They know how to do it. Okay, so lumalabas, nawawala. Ayan, nababalita na, missing. Nako. Then lately, meron pa palang namatay na isang bata. Autism, they don't know the dangers. Okay? Sometimes, pagka nabuli pa sila na inakit sila ng ibang tao, they don't know kung sino sasamahan, no? Kung sino ang pagbubuksan ng pinto. Kailangan pakita mo ng mga iba't ibang retrato ng mga mukhang goons o pag ganyan ang itsura, wag mong papasukin. Pagka may bigote, pag may tattoo, wag kang sumama. Ay, nako. There's so much to teach them. Marked physical hyperactivity, this is very, very much part of the package, sir. talaga kung physically they're hyperactive and also mentally. They are they have so much energy. I think it is given to them also, no? But that's not to say na, ay naku, problema ko, napakalikot, Diyos ko. And then every day, kung ano-ano, takbo dito, kaludkot niya. Yung kamay, ang likod, no? He is just telling us, itong mga kalikutan, they're just telling us that, hey, mama, I have so much energy today. Ano bang pwede kong gawin? Para yung kamay ko huminto. Yan, kasi if there is nothing to do productively, you don't direct the hands, yan po nagsisimula yung mga flapping. Diba? O kaya yung, what's this? Rocking. Okay? Minsan may mga ganyan pa, may tunog pa. Why? Because the repetitive movement stimulates them eh. Okay? Isa po yung attribute na they would go for repetitive actions. Why? Kasi it stimulates them or it soothes them. The repetitive action is something that they can predict. No? That's why minsan pag bored na siguro sila, they will do something like this. May sound pa, kasabay pa ng sound, because the movement, siguro nasusoothe sila and it's something na, okay, ito na lang gagawin ko, alam ko to. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Alam ko to. Pag pinigilan mo sila, ay, nako, kakagutan, kakagera na. Okay? So they're both physically and mentally active, and all we need to do is find outlets, channels for this energy because they can do so much given that energy. Diba? Hindi tayo binigyan ng ganyan, sila ang meron. That's why they want engage themselves. Nila alam kung paano. That's why sa OT, no? Occupational therapy, ano ba yun? Yung mga the basics dyan na pinapahawak sa mga spaghetti or para yung kamay, no? Not only para matuto ng sensory but para ma-engage yung kamay. Si Munir, kaya po yan nawala yung flapping niya because yung naglalaba ko, sabi ko, halika dito, gusto mo magpiga? Piga, piga. Oh, doon nakita ko, doon napunta energy niya. Wow, magpiga, sige, paulit-ulit lang. Gusto nila yung paulit-ulit. And then plus the, uy, very good, ang galing. Very good anak ko, na-reinforce. So ngayon, siya na yung tagalaba ko, no, sa bahay. Napakasipag po maglaba. Hindi lang po paglaba ngayon po, from start to finish, hindi niya lulubayan yang even using the washing machine. Kaya, see what wealth I have. Hindi na po ako kailangan mag-hire pa ng mga tagalaba. I can do many other things because he is the one doing the laundry. Hindi ko naman po siya inaalila, no? That's what he wants. Minsan nga, makita lang niya na marami ng maduduming damit. Wash clothes. Wash clothes. Initiative siya. Okay. Ano na tayo? Marked physical hyperactivity. So all of this, no, kaya nga po sa support group, yung mga opportunities na binibigay namin sa mga bata. No? We have so many partners giving them opportunities to play, to perform. Kasi nandun, pag yung energy nila na channel nila sa ganun, dun lumalabas po yung mga kakayahan nila. Talents din yung madidiscover. Okay? And then, yan, yung odd and repetitive play, as I mentioned earlier, paulit-ulit, no? So, yung bata, maliit na bata, bigyan mo ng mga coaching magaganda, they will not play it like this, beep, beep, broom, broom. Walang ganun. Gagawin niya, pag pipila-pilahin niya yung mga car, no? Naka-line up lang ang mga car, ganun lang yun, ayos-ayos na yun, ayos siya ng ayos. Pag ginalaw mo, gera. Okay? O kaya yung piling up, pinagpapatong-patong, because there is a pattern that suits their mind. Yung pattern and the repetition, yung po nakaka-stimulate sa kanila. Okay? Yung umiikot, especially umiikot, spinning. Yan. Kaya yung electric fan, yan, pwede nilang maging obsession ng electric fan kasi ikot-ikot lang yun. Because that's something they know already. Ay, iikot-ikot lang. Alam ko na yan, up, down. Commercials, they like commercials very much kasi pagka nakuha na nila yung start and end of commercial, they can repeat it in their minds. Kaya gusto nila manood ng commercial. Pag pelikula, ayaw na. Okay? Commercial, they can predict. And it gives them so much comfort knowing that, ay, alam ko na yan. Di ba? That means they also want to be appreciated kasi meron din silang alam. And in themselves, they are trying to treat themselves, di ba? So, nakalakas din ng drive nila talaga po na mai-express ang kanilang sarili. So, again, without our guidance, no, without giving them the opportunities, di po natin papalabas lahat dyan ng kanilang mga kakayanan, mga kanilang mga potentials. Okay, so odd and repetitive play, paulit-ulit, inappropriate laughter, giggling or crying. So, napansin niyo si Munir kanina, patawa-tawa. Sometimes, hindi natin alam ano ba, ba't natatawa. Minsan, insulto ka pa, ano ba ito? Kinang tatawanan yata ako nito. Delikado po pag sa public. ningisi-ngisi sa harap ng tao sa jeep. Baka po mapagkamalan siya na pinagtatawanan niya yung tao, di ba? So, it puts you in some awkward situations or giggling. Okay? Bakit inappropriate? Wala sa lugar, wala sa oras. Hindi naman sira ang ulo nila no? Hindi naman sila nasisiraan ng bait. Okay? It's just they have their reasons for doing that. Hindi natin alam. Pero ako, I think, tumatawa sila bigla pag may naaalala sila in themselves or siguro may na-achieve sila in the past na kinalulugod niya, no? I've watched a movie na gano'n si Temple Grande. Tumatawa sila, actually, pwede nilang daanin ang stress nila sa tawa. Okay? So, they might have different reasons for that laughter. Kaya nga lang wala sa lugar. Kaya nagiging, sa tingin natin, ay, ang weird. Giggling or even crying. Okay? So, i-explore po natin yon what makes them laugh. No? Kaya nga may mga kasamahan ako na pag tumatawa yung anak nila, nakikitawan na lang sila para kunwari, okay, we're sharing. Diba? Kasi sometimes awkward situation in public classroom. Okay? Pero, pagka tumatawa ang mga tao, you train your child also to laugh para nakikisabay din siya sa kasiyahan. Okay. We're almost close to the end. Destructive or aggressive at times. Again, yung destructiveness nila or yung aggressiveness, it's really a sign of frustration yun na lumalabas. Hindi nila masabing gusto nila o may ayaw sila na hindi matanggal-tanggal sa kanila. Kasi nga, yung communication sometimes impaired or hindi siya makapagsalita. But not all of them are non-verbal, ha? So many of them, actually, yung generation ng mga bata ngayon almost all of them are verbal. Observation ko po yun. Nakapagsasalita sila. Unlike yung generation naman yun ng bata pa sila. They're non-verbal and they're always tantruming, di ba? They're always hurting us. So I think this is bakit because of their frustrations or disappointments na hindi nila ma-express. Or, as I said earlier, namato sila, tapos pinansin mo siya, or so attention-seeking siya. Okay? And pag pinansin mo, nare-reinforce yun. They can be aggressive even to family members. Yan, ano? And then I said kanina, injurious, no? May nabanggit akong injurious. Yung nananakit. Okay? Not only other people, but even himself, pwede niyang i-injure, headbanging, pag nag-headbang siya, di ba? But because there's, alam niyo na napakataas ng threshold nila for pain. Hindi nila nararamdaman yung sakit na gaya natin, konting hiwa lang, okay? Sila hindi. Kahit anong sakit na ng ngipin ba, hindi pa nagko-complain, hindi mo alam bulok na pala yung ngipin niya, sakit ng tiyan niya. So, they don't express pain, no? Okay, generally they don't. Okay? Unless na high functioning and very verbal siya. Okay, so as I said, it's a spectrum. Okay, so it can be injurious even to himself. Okay, so ito po yung resist changes in routines. Yan, because sa SPED po kasi unang-unang tinuturo sa kanila, there is a program, there is a time for everything. Yan. Parang ino-organize ang buhay nila na magulo. So I said, begin with they're so confused. Tapos pag pinasok mo na sa SPED, inaayos na yan ng mga SPED teachers. Inaayos in such a way na, wow, kaya ang mga bata gusto sa school. Because in school, they can predict all the movements. They know what's happening next. No? Di ba? This is consolation to them already. Pag sinama natin sila sa labas, saan na naman kami pupunta? Hindi ko alam kung saan kami pupunta. Wala, hindi ito yung ruta namin. Nagawala na sila. Pero sa school, kaya gusto nila pumasok sa school, everything is predictable. Gives them so much comfort. Comfort zone sa school. Kaya nga dapat ginagawa ng parents sa bahay kung anong ginagawa sa school. So there's consistency, okay, there is practice at home. So parang sa bahay na ano din sila, nakaka-behave. Kasi sabi ng mga magulang, ano ba yan? Tagal-tagal na si SPED, pagka naman nasa bahay, gulo-gulo pa rin. Why? Because sa atmosphere sa bahay, the setup sa bahay is different from the setup sa school. Dapat natututo tayo kung paano si setup sa school, ganun din. So changes in routines may distract them, may disturb them. And then they resist learning. Siyempre, kung ano yung nakasanayan nila, dito na ako, ito na. Because, yun nga, kung ano yung nakasanayan. Ito na, huwag nyo nang baguhin. They will resist learning. And kaya nga, mahirap pa upuin kasi alam niya, tuturuan na naman siya. So, there are many ways of resisting learning. Ayan, sige. Imagine nyo na lang yung anak nyo, how they resist, di ba? Yun nga, crying, whining, di ba? Pretending na, ganyan, whatever. Okay, resist learning. And then, the last is a strange attachment to objects or activities. Meron silang attachment, ano ba tawag natin doon? Sometimes fixation to certain objects. Unan, stuffed toy, or ng drum, whatever, no? Whatever po, minsan t-shirt na hindi nilalabhan. Bakit? Kasi sensory needs nila sometimes, yung amoy, gusto nila yun lang, something that is constant in their body. Constancy, they're always seeking that, something na constant, something na sanay sila, something na attuned sila. That's why, minsan pagka lalabas kayo, no? Parang yung bata, saan na naman kaya kami pupunta? Pag hindi pinaliwanag kung saan pupunta, walang picture kung saan pupunta, hindi niya alam. O hindi bali na, hawakan ko na lang 'tong sachet ng shampoo ko. At least, yeah, yung parang ano, security blanket. At least ito, something that is constant in my being, itong sachet na ito. Yan. So, yung mga iba't ibang ano yan. Hindi sila makatulog pag hindi katabi yung whatever, no? Because yun ang nagiging security blanket nila. And also activities, no? May mga gusto-gustong magtampisaw sa tubig, inuubos lahat ng tubig, no? Hindi naman nagsiswimming, tatampisaw lang is because yung water or maybe the sound of the water stimulates them. So, ayun, ang dami-daming natin dapat unawain sa kanila, sa mga sistema nila. No? At hanggat hindi natin naunawaan yun, we'll never know how to deal with them. Yung kanilang mga attachment to objects, no? Sad to say naman po ngayon, mga cellphone na, mga hawak na mga bata. No? Yung attachment to objects, pwede nyo pong gamitin kasi ng pang-reward sa kanila yon. Pwede nyo i-withhold muna sa kanila yung bagay na yan. Or, ako nung tinayin ko si Mimi, okay, you do that first. Okay, let's write muna ngayon name. Ay, very good. Okay, bibigay mo kung ano yung gusto niya. It can be food. It may be food, Pringles, candy, or juice. But it becomes a reinforcer to him. He then is able to associate a good act to a reward. Especially pag bata pa. So that he will know what to do. Ay, gagawin ko nga ito kasi ihahaga ko ni mama. Ay, gagawin ko nga ito kasi meron mamaya ako may Jollibee. Okay? But that will be overgrown. Hindi naman pagtanda, ganun pa rin, hinahag pa rin. Once they na-acclimate or na-familiarize na sila or nasanay na sila sa akin, they will do it even without reward. Yan, so there are many good news. No? Kaya, okay, I think that's the last na po. No? And I'm sure, marami pa po tayong gusto itanong and we will be hopefully entertaining your questions regarding autism because 101 pa lang po yung dinidiscuss ko. Okay, so sir, I will have to give the floor to our expert. Salamat po.
Thank you so much, Tita Jan, for sharing your experiences with Munir alongside with with the different how do I say that situations that our parents can take a look at po At this point, Tita Jan, joining with us is Teacher Joy Lacson. Teacher Joy, good afternoon po. Good afternoon. Teacher Joy, si Tita Jan, earlier she has shared to us yung different, how do I say this? It's kind of red flags, different activities that are common to children with autism. Teacher Joy, as a SPED teacher po,
I'm an occupational therapist.
As an occupational therapist, running your own ano po ang center? Yes. How do I cannot construct my question, but if our parents would get to see this these instances that Tita Jan has mentioned earlier, what could they do?
Okay.
Now I am giving the stream to Teacher Joy Lacson, an occupational therapist who's managing her tama po ba SPED centers po ang tawag po natin dito?
With
Therapy center.
Yes, and we are offering early intervention program na yung mga SPED teachers ang
naghahanda. Tita Jan, I will have you back a little later. Please stay with us po at the backstage. Teacher Joy, marami pong salamat for making time for us this noon. It's already lunchtime and I really appreciate your time together with Tita Jan. And she has given us a little background based from her experiences with Munir and of course researches and different knowledge that she gained all throughout her experiences. Teacher Joy, how about po on a professional point of view?
perspective. Okay, would you like to give me a brief background also of ASD or ano po ba? As a professional OT, bigyan ko lang po kayo ng isang maikling discussion about ASD. Ano po? So I would like to share my screen also.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Since our topic is importance of early intervention for children with ASD. Okay. So what is autism spectrum disorder? Okay. Ano po ba yung
Teacher,
autism?
sorry po. Would you like po to ano po bang,
Share? Na.
to to start the slideshow po so that your presentation would go bigger, would occupy the fullness of the screen.
Naka-share na po. Hindi pa ba siya nakikita sa...
Naka-share na po, but would you like to click the start slide po?
Okay. For a while.
Okay po, teacher. But it is already ano na po, streaming.
Okay.
Apa. Teacher Joy, what is an occupational therapist? What do you do?
Okay, I'm going to discuss the role of an OT. Actually, later I'm going to discuss also the roles of the team na nagbibigay ng mga services, nagpo-provide ng services sa mga bata na nangangailangan ng early intervention. Okay?
Alright, sige po.
So, shortly, ano ko lang po, brief background for ASD. Okay, it is a neurodevelopmental condition. The cause is still unknown, but science suggests that it is linked to genetic and environmental factors. So, people with ASD may communicate, interact, behave, and learn differently. Pero walang kaibahan sa anyo o itsura ng mga batang may ASD. Ano po? So, only with the way they communicate, they learn, medyo doon po ang pagkakaiba. Pero they are still the same as ay mga typical kids na nakikita po natin. So, kailan nga ba natin nalalaman na merong ASD ang ating mga anak? It may show up within the first few months or before the age of 3. But for some, the development normally occur until 18 to 24 months. Then suddenly, magkakaroon ng, mag-stop yung pag-gain nila ng mga skills o yung mga na-acquire na nilang skills, biglang nawala. So actually, those are concerns ng mga parents na lumalapit po sa amin for evaluation sa OT. Ano po? But ito po, ang isa pa, it is a lifelong condition, which is nabanggit na naman ni Ma'am Chan kanina po, it is a lifelong condition, but symptoms may improve over time given proper intervention. Okay, there's no really timeline para sa pag-diagnose ng ASD, ng autism. At the crucial stage is between 1 to 3 years old. And it cannot be detected by a newborn screening test. So yung iba rin po lumalapit. Bakit po during the evaluation? Nag-wait po kami, Teacher Joy, kasi po hindi naman siya lumabas sa newborn screening. So naghintay po kami kasi alam namin na walang ASD ang aking anak. But yun nga po, hindi po siya nakikita sa newborn screening test.
Alright.
So hindi po siya nakikita. Kaya wag tayong mag-rely kasi ang ASD, since unknown pa nga yung cause, hindi pa natin alam din kung ano yung cure sa kanya. And the best option is yung therapy na po, which is mamaya i-discuss po natin. So, ano lang po, para mas clear lang po, mabilisan lang naman po ito. Ano po? Okay, ano ba yung triad of impairment ng ASD? So, it affects, okay na po? It affects the social, the communication, and the behavior. So, kaya po triad siya. Dun sa milestones or dun sa domain of development ng bata, yung social aspect, yung communication aspect, at saka yung repetitive behaviors ay lumalabas or nagmamanifest sa isang batang ASD. So ito po yun. Ito po yung triad of impairment para dun sa early intervention or doon sa ages, doon sa younger age group. For social interaction, does not respond to name by 12 months, avoids eye contact, resists intrusion by others, does not share interest with others, avoids or resists physical contact. There is a deficit in joint attention. For social communication naman, there is a delayed speech and language skills, does not respond or respond to pointing, repeats words or phrases, and uses few or no gestures at all. For the behavior or the repetitive behaviors, there is a presence of lining, stacking, spinning of objects. Marami pa po pwedeng mga lumabas sa mga repetitive behaviors. So, hindi lang ito. There is a fixation or unusual attachment with objects. They like parts of an object. For example, sa isang car, they don't play the car, pero mas nag-fixate or nag-focus lang sila doon sa gulong or dun sa wheels ng sasakyan o ng laruan nila. They need predictability, or they get upset by minor changes, and they have specific routines. They flap hands, rock bodies, pencil, vocal tics, and other stimulatory behavior, o yung mga self-stinging na nabanggit na rin naman po ni Mami Jan kanina. Ito po. So, ito po yung triad of impairment. So, kung makikita ninyo to na present sa ating mga anak, more or less, these are red flags. Medyo ma-alarm na po tayo. Ano po? So, to better understand the levels of autism spectrum disorder, okay, the DSM-5 revised the levels of autism. Kung before, it's from mild, moderate to severe. Ngayon po, i-revise na nila ito dun sa based on the level of support na pwedeng ibigay ng mga magulang. No po, so makikita po ninyo, mas family focus na po yung level of support. Since ito po yung functional levels nila. For ESD level 1, requiring support. Kung makikita po ninyo dito, nandoon pa rin, present doon sa triad pa rin, as sinabi ko kanina, there is a difficulty initiating social interactions. Organization and planning problems can hamper independence. So, yun po. Meron ng difficulty sa social aspect, social interaction. For ASD level 2, requiring substantial support, there is limited social interaction na. They are limited to narrow special interest din. There's frequent or restricted repetitive behaviors. So, meron ng present ng rigid behavior and meron ng limited social interaction. For the ASD level 3 naman, requiring very substantial support, there is severe deficits na in verbal and non-verbal communication. So, there's a presence na or deficits na in communication, great distress and difficulty dun sa mga rigid behaviors. So, yun po yun. Siguro mas nakita po ngayon natin, ang focus na ay nasa level of support. So, mas family-oriented na siya. Kailangan po ang suporta ay nanggagaling talaga sa pamilya. Ano po? And with that, ano po ba ang connection ng ESD sa early intervention? Bakit laging kaakibat ng ESD ang early intervention? As I mentioned earlier, di ba, ang diagnosis ng ESD ay lumalabas within the first 3 years of life ng bata. So, kailan ba yung maximal rate ng pag-develop ng brain ng ating mga anak? It is during also this period or stage. So, ano ba yung early intervention muna? Okay, it is providing appropriate intervention during the first 3 years of life, or at the very least, the first 5 years before the age of 7 of a child, identified to be at risk for developmental delay. So, yun po. It is the period where the brains develop at a maximal rate. So, yun yung tinatawag natin na brain plasticity or neuroplasticity. So, ano nga po ba yung neuroplasticity or brain plasticity? The structural and the functional changes in the brain brought about by stimulation, training, and experience. So, nakita po natin yung kahalagahan. Bakit importante yung early intervention sa ating mga anak? Kasi doon natin nakikita ngayon, doon na mag-start na lumabas yung mga red flags. So, ito ngayon, kailangan natin agapan na kaagad. Kung may napapansin na tayong mga delay sa ating mga anak, sa development nila, hindi na dapat tayo nagpapatumpik-tumpik. Paano po? As soon as you notice a concern or delay in your child's development, you're one step ahead of getting the best outcome with proper intervention. So, first thing is, ano ba ang dapat natin gawin? Actually, Sir Maki, you asked me, diba? Kapag may napansin sila, ano ba ang unang dapat gawin ng mga magulang? Actually, it is to seek developmental consult. So, paano nga ba? Medyo lost ako, teacher. Ano po ba yung gagawin namin? Sino ang developmental consult? Saan kami magsisik ng developmental consult? Actually, sila yung mga developmental pediatricians. Ano po? So, if wala tayong masyadong kilalang mga developmental pediatricians, we could ask the pediatricians of our kids. Okay? maidadirect nila tayo sa mga developmental pediatricians. Actually, even the developmental advocates like the ESP Society, the EDHD Society, and even the teachers, they know na eh, kasi yung awareness natin ngayon, di ba? So, pwede natin, or matutulungan nila tayo, ang mga magulang, na may direct tayo sa mga developmental pediatricians para matulungan ang ating mga magulang na mas maintindihan kung ano yung pinagdadaanan ng ating mga anak. Why? Because the developmental pediatricians are the qualified professionals na qualified individuals na mag-a-assess, mag-eval, kung ano yung totoong kondisyon ng bata. Sila yung mag-explain sa atin kung ano ang dapat gawin at kung sino yung mga tamang tao or experts na dapat natin lapitan. And that is where we come in, okay? Kami po, ang next step is referral to therapy services. Nire-refer po ng mga developmental pediatrician ang mga bata na diagnose ng ESD or other condition actually sa therapy. Okay, so sino-sino ba yung mga nasa team?
Teacher Joy?
Yes po.
Teacher Joy, may tanong lang ako, hindi ko mapigilan ang sarili kong tanungin ito. This must be a question of all our parents, and this might set also limitation for them. Teacher Joy, mahal ba?
Magpakonsulta.
Opo. Yung iba po, di ba po, kapag usual nilagnat ang bata, pag walang pera ang magulang, dadalhin sa mga barangay center. Pero I believe the barangay health centers do not offer the services. Teacher Joy, mahal ba?
Actually, it's quite expensive. Pero alam mo ngayon kasi, since mas yung awareness na natin, yung acceptance sa society, actually meron na tayong mga lugar or venue na merong nag-o-offer na po ng mga services sa, I don't know if it's free or mas mababang halaga. Like, in public, ino-open na nila. Even actually, the therapy services, tinatap nila kami sa mga or yung ibang mga therapists sa mga public schools. And even this actually, alam ko meron pong parang charity clinic ang Lasal na nag-o-offer ng assessment or ng consult. So, actually, expensive po siya, pero yun nga po, dahil nakikita na namin yung pangangailangan. Maraming bata ang pangangailangan at hindi naman po lahat kaya or may kakayahan na bumayad. So, meron po actually na mga nag-o-offer na services, charity services. I don't know kung dito po sa Lasal meron tayo.
Thank you, Teacher Joy.
So, okay. Even actually, yung mga therapy services, meron pong mga nakukurang mga free services sa mga public schools and yung mga charity, meron pong nag-o-offer naman. So, yun po. So, i-define ko muna din po yung role or do you have more questions po? Okay, ano po ba yung roles ng team para sa early intervention? So, kanina po, tinanong niyo sa akin, ano ba ang role ng isang OT? Ako po isang occupational therapist. Ano po? So, actually, we are actually the occupational therapists or the frontliners. Kami po yung una, sa amin po unang sumasalang after the evaluation from the developmental pediatrician. Kami po ang unang nag-a-assess at nag-evaluate. So we do assessment, evaluation of the present level of skills regarding motor skills, sensory issues, and activities of daily living of the child. So ano po ba yung activities of daily living? Lagi nilang naririnig yan ng mga magulang. Ano po ba yung ginagawa sa pang-araw-araw ng isang bata? It includes feeding, dressing, grooming, toileting, and even eating. Especially play. Yun ang main occupation ng mga bata. So, ina-assess po namin yan. So, we also provide management after that. After the assessment, the evaluation, we provide management. We set goals to address challenging behaviors and sensory issues that hinder learning. So, yung mga nabanggit ni Mami Jan po kanina na mga issues, challenges sa behavior, ina-address po yun ng occupational therapist. So for the speech and language therapist naman po, they evaluate, assess present level of skills regarding speech, language, and communication. They focus on improving speech, receptive language, and expressive language. And for the SPED teachers or the intervention SPED teachers, they also play an important support in managing and providing holistic approach in addressing the needs of a child with ASD. Katulong po namin sila ng UT at ng speech, yung mga early intervention SPED teachers, sa pag-address nitong mga kakulangan at kailangan ng ating mga anak. So, they not only focus on the cognitive and academic aspects, but more importantly, they facilitate skills to be more functional. So, importante po na maging functional yung nalalaman nila or kaalaman nila para mas ma-prepare natin sila for mainstreaming sa regular schooling or yung iba naman po for pre-vocational level or to address independent living skills. So nakita po natin or na-define na po natin yung roles ng bawat isa doon sa team po ng early intervention. Actually, ang role po namin is not just fixing the deficits of our young children, but our true power is more of empowering, educating, coaching, and mentoring the family members and the parents. So with that po, Sir Maki, siguro po, na-present ko na po yung aking slides. Do you have any more concerns or mga tanong po?
Thank you, Teacher Joy. At this point, I would like to encourage all our viewers, especially our parents, to express their questions through our comment section. And Teacher Joy, I will be bringing back on stream Tita Jan. Ayan. Hello, Tita Jan. Welcome back po. Teacher Joy, I have one question here. Yun pong mga kaninang binanggit po ninyo, yung pagpapile ng mga items, pag-line up ng toys, pagiging fixated sa isang bagay, yung strange fixation. Minsan po kasi, nakikita na natin yung sa bata, pero hindi. May checklist ba yun na kailangan 3 out of 10 ay nakikita ko sa kanya, o maski isa lang doon, I have to seek help na?
Actually, dun po kung makikita niyo po dun sa levels of autism, dun sa bagong i-present natin, dun sa level 1, kapag merong social difficulty in social interaction, pwede na siyang nandoon po, pwedeng mag-shoot na siya doon. So, pero yung mismong paglilinya lang is actually not a main issue na para sabihin na natin na i-diagnose yung bata.
Okay po.
So kaya nga po tayo pumupunta sa mga developmental pediatricians kasi kapag nakita natin na may mga red flags, actually meron pa po kasing other co-existing condition. Hindi lang po kasi autism ang magiging condition or pwedeng maging condition ng isang bata. So, itong mga characteristics po na ito ay nag-overlap din. So, it is better na talagang mag-consult tayo sa developmental media kasi sila po talaga nag-diagnose, nag-evaluate ng condition ng ating mga anak.
Teacher Joy, another question po, and Tita Jan, based on your experience po, syempre po sa amin po, hindi kami ganun ka-adept or we're not really familiar with the process. Kapag po ba ang bata ay the parent would bring the child to seek help, what are the procedures that the parents could expect? May mga oral intake po ba or more on session po talaga, o may mga makinarya po bang ginagamit for diagnosis?
Actually, may mga standardized tools kung ginagamit ang mga developmental pediatrician. Kaya nga po, hindi siya na-assess ng isang pediatrician. So, yung expert po, which is the Deped, sila po ang nag-assess talaga. So, yung mga tools, standardized tools na tinitingnan nila para makita nila or ma-assess nila. Hindi naman nila kasi po ibinibigay or hindi sila ang reason ng diagnosis ng ating mga anak. Sila lang po yung qualified people na makita kung ano po yung condition talaga. So,
thank you, Teacher Joy. Tita Jan, I would like to ask this from you, to you po, no? What does the diagnosis look like? Kasi, di ba po, pag tayo nagpa-x-ray o may film na binibigay, for this condition, on what form did you receive the formal diagnosis of Munir?
That was 23 years ago.
Opo,
No?
23 years
When he
ago.
was 2 years old. The doctor, in-interview lang ako, and then
Opo.
parang inassess siya, may mga konting tricks na siguro mga toys or something, yung parang ina-assess yung reaction niya, something. It was very quick actually. Kasi when I went to the doctor, sabi ko sa kanya agad, I want please check him for autism. Kasi marami na pong may mga nag-advise na sa akin about it first time ko narinig. Sabi nga niya, autism na ba kaagad? Sabi niya gano'n. Sabi ko may mga manifestation po kasi may. Tapos yan, interview lang niya ako. Siguro, and that was 23 years ago. So yung mga tanong niya sa akin is leading to the signs. Iniisa-isa niya siguro yung signs. And then later on, sinabi niya sa akin, mami, total may kutob na kayo. I can confirm to you now that you have a child with autism. Na po yun. At this time, in this period, siguro po may mga naka-ready na po ng mga, mga Depeds ngayon. Like a battery of test po ba yan? Or I never experienced na po after that. And even after our second visit to the Deped, hindi na rin po ako nakapag-follow up sa kanya. Just became so active na po sa mga movements, kaya hindi na po ako nakadalang sa Deped niya even until now. So that was so simple po talaga, Sir Max.
Thank you. Grabe po na Teacher Joy, Tita Jan, thank you for your time. It really enlightened every one of us, especially in the experiences of a parent and syempre po sa mga teacher. And we need this. We need to talk about this para we can be educated on meron kaming merong isang bata na nag-enroll under our class. What can we do? How do we communicate with them? And especially, how can we orient yung mga estudyante na kaklase niya? Teacher Joy,
Yes.
in that case, kasi marami pa akong friends yan, sina mga kumaring Ruisa, yan. I learned na hindi ko alam yung tamang term, pero sabi nila, naku, minsan taon ang pila para magkaroon ng, I forgot what it is, pero sinasabi nila na taon daw ang pila. So, lalo na sa mga hindi ganun kayaman, lalo na po tayo sa Deped, we cater to all walks of life. Minsan po ang bata ay pumapasok sa mainstream, pero kasi syempre wala pong formal diagnosis and the parents are not aware. Halimbawa po, ako po ang teacher on a regular classroom at na-notice ko po yung na ang bata po ay possible na may ganong condition. What can I do? To whom should I talk first? Na hindi ako magkakamali na baka in the end, ako po, sa akin pa puputok, magkakakaso pa ako, parang child abuse pa. What can I properly undertake for all our teachers watching right now?
Actually, the first thing to do is to talk to the parents. Kasi sila dapat na-explain. Actually, kung hindi na-notice ng magulang ang concern sa bahay, talagang lalabas siya sa eskwelahan. Kasi doon, mas exposed na siya. Mas kailangan na niya mag-interact, yung socialization, yung communication, and the behavior itself. Kasi comfort zone ng bahay eh. So, pwedeng hindi siya lumabas, makukuha niya kasi yung gusto niya doon. Hindi lumabas yung mga manifestations na to. So, talagang sa eskwelahan, kapag hindi agad siya nakita sa bahay, sa eskwelahan ilalabas ito. So, yung mga teachers, kapag meron po kayong na-notice ng mga red flags na, since ito nga po, ito naman po yung purpose natin is, it's more of awareness para sa mga teachers at ibang family members para dun sa condition ng bata. So we have to talk to the parents. Kausapin natin sila in a nice way na siguro hindi naman offensive para sa kanila. At i-direct natin sila, pwede natin silang bigyan ng advice na pumunta sa yung mga developmental advocates na pwede po tayo siguro magpa-member sa ASP. Kasi doon makikita natin, may mga sharing doon ng mga magulang, may mga seminars, makikita po natin. So, from there, ma-analyze po natin kailangan ba talaga ng ng developmental consult o kailangan po ba, o meron bang kondisyon talaga yung anak ko? Kasi yun yung best way po para matulungan natin sila eh. Kung hahayaan lang natin sila, ignore lang natin yung mga napapansin natin, we are not helping the family. So, yun po. And at the same time, hindi natin matutulungan even the individual.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you, teacher. Thank you. Thank you so much. So it's yung ano po, no, our teachers would have to be careful that when you see a student under your class that might have this condition, the first person you should talk to is the parent and not another teacher, nor
Yes.
parent of another student.
Yes. Totoo po yan. Kasi hindi natin call yung attention ng parents kung makikipag-usap lang tayo sa ibang tao. So, sino yung best person to address it? Siyempre yung magulang po ng bata.
Thank you, Teacher Joy. Tita Jan, this is my last question, and maybe this could also be addressed by Teacher Joy. Tita Janet, I'm trying to struck my question properly. Minsan po ang magulang kapag po, di po may level of minsan nag-denial stage and then hanggang unti-unti na-accept. And then the next thing we're thinking of is, paano ang anak ko pag nawala ako? Yun po yung concern pag nalaman nilang may kondisyon ng anak, hindi po ba? Tita Jan, you are a strong woman. Since I met you, kanina po nagkukwentuhan tayo, parang kinukwento nyo na parang you're so confident about it. You're very strong. Tita Jan, kayo po, how do you prepare the future of Munir? And syempre, we cannot control what happened. What are the practical steps you have taken and you are to take for his future?
Okay. Happily po, nalagpasan ko na po yung ganong emotional stage, yung kinakatakutan yung paano pag nawala na ako, no? Hindi ko na po masyadong iniisip yun ngayon. Ang ginawa ko po kasi when I made Munir already part of my system, body-body kami, lagi kami magkasama. So everywhere I went, namit ang mga tao. Even when he was young. Kaya po yan si Munir, hindi yan tumatakas sa bahay kasi nasanay siya na tuwing lalabas siya, kasama ako. So nakilala siya sa community. And the people, because they know me, they are my friends, they became friends with Munir. The people, my relatives, community, schools, they learn to love Munir. So first siguro is be lovable yourself, no? Pag mahal ka ng tao, mamahalin nila ang anak mo. Pag wala na ako, I'm sure mamahalin nila. Hindi nila babastusin, hindi nila alilaan si Munir because in respect of me. So, mahalagang mahalin natin ang mga tao sa paligid natin. Mga kapitbahay natin, especially. Huwag natin silang inaaway. Huwag tayo masyadong combatant, no? Masyado tayong defensive. Especially yung ating mga in-laws, yung ating mga relatives. Mahalin po natin sila, although sometimes sila pa yung kumukontra sa atin. Well, it's a virtue. Mahalin lang natin sila because sila rin yung magmamahal sa anak natin. And that gives me already comfort na pag nawala ako, I know, mamahalin si Munir at hindi nila pababayaan si Munir. And the second one is to empower the child. Kaya po lahat tinuturo ko sa kanya. Lahat ng ginagawa ko, tinuturo ko sa kanya. Even yung spiritual exercises ko sa confraternity, tinuro ko sa kanya yung pagdarasal. And he became my prayer partner at home. Imagine, during the entire pandemic period na nasa loob ka lang ng bahay, yung question ng mga anak, anong gagawin ko, anong gagawin mga nanay, anong gagawin, walang magawa, nag-hyper. But we were praying inside the house and he learned all those prayers. So I know that he can, pag wala na ako, he can be with community. He can be with my confraternity. And ang laki nang nabago sa behavior niya eh. So yung shaping ng behavior niya, yung modifications ng behavior niya, is such a way na pag wala na ako, he will know how to control himself. He will know how to handle himself. Huh? So, hindi ko naman kinakabahala kung baka wala siyang trabaho. Basta I know he has a family. May family siya, may kapatid siya. And like Teacher Joy, the sister's an occupational therapist. The father is very hardworking. I know hindi nila pababayaan si Munir. And I just don't worry about it anymore. So, empowering the child para wala ka na, the people will accept him because he knows how to behave. Pagka hindi kasi behave pa, that's very hard to accept talaga po, admittedly. Pagka misbehaving ng bata, sino pang tatanggap sa kanya? Kahit ilagak mo yan sa isang SPED, magbayad ka ng, at matanda na, no? Hindi na ma-arrest ang behavior niya, wala na pong tatanggap sa kanya. No? So, the best way is nga, pakitaan mo na magandang yung mga kapamilya sa paligid mo, and then empower, prepare him for that. Ayun.
Thank you, Tita Jan. Maraming pong salamat. Teacher Joy, any more words to our teachers and to our parents? Una po dun sa mga, they already know that they have children with autism, and those who are still, suspecting and would like to formally learn this.
Okay, so ito nga po yung parting words ko dito eh. Different doesn't mean one is less. So, ang mga batang may autism po ay pwedeng nag-learn lang sila differently, pero hindi ibig sabihin nun that they are less as a person. Okay? Our kids with ASD are actually amazing people. All we have to do is just unlock and unleash those potentials, those extraordinary talents, those skills na meron sila the right way. So, importante po talaga na nabibigyan natin ng proper intervention para yung mga alalahanin ng mga magulang, lalo na kapag tumanda na sila, mas maging kampante sila na ibinigay ko, pwede kong maibigay sa aking mga anak, sa aking anak na may ASD, tinuruan ko siyang maging independent, kung ano yung kanyang kapasidad, minaximize namin ito, katulong at kasama itong ating mga therapist. So, with that, ibinigay po natin ang lahat, siguro naman tayo ay mas magiging kampante dahil kaya naman po nag-i-improve ang batang may ASD. Hindi po iisang picture lang ng isang bata ang ASD. Napakadami po, iba-iba, very unique po sila. So, kaya po nilang mag-thrive sa school at kung hindi man nila kayanin ang mainstreaming, ang regular school, pwede natin silang i-hone or develop sa iba-ibang mga kakayahan nila. Maging independent sila sa sarili nila para hindi na po sila maging umasa. Kasi actually yun po yung nagiging implications. Kapag hindi nabibigyan ng proper intervention, ano po yung mga alalahanin ng mga magulang? Paano yan? Dependent sila sa atin. Paano sila mag-thrive outside? Hindi natin sila mailalabas. Kasi natatakot ako na baka doon siya mag-tantrums or magwala. So, less opportunity for the kids, less experience, at less din yung learning. So, with the families naman, ano yung magiging implication kung hindi mabibigyan ng proper intervention? More stress, more worries, more anxieties, at mas malaki yung tendency for burnout. And at the same time, ganun din po yung time na nagbibigay natin sa ating ibang kapamilya or sa ibang siblings ng batang may ASD as mas nagiging less kasi nga po, mas nag-focus tayo doon sa bata. So why not give him a chance na mag-explore, na matuto, given proper intervention. Kakayanin po nila at kaya po nila. Huwag natin i-underestimate ang kakayahan ng isang batang may ASD.
Thank you so much, Teacher Joy and Tita Jan, for the parents watching to us right now.
Sir?
Your message po to all our parents watching.
Yes, to their parents, no? Let's persevere. Persevere po tayo. Hindi po hopeless ang situation. Habang bata pa yung ating anak, agapan na natin yung sinasabi natin because yun yung time na they will best learn. Mas receptive sila sa mga pagtuturo. Huwag tayong ma-discourage kung resistant sila, nagre-react sila. Huwag tayong matakot, huwag tayong mag-manipulate. Let us assert our authority para sumunod sila sa atin. Let's teach them compliance. Yun po yung tinuturo ng mga SPED teachers. Give me this color, match the shape. That's compliance Kasi dadalhin nila to habang tumanda sila. They have to be very compliant. Hindi naman sa minamaliit ko sila, but there are many things that they do not understand. They just simply have to comply para makakope sila sa mundo natin. Okay? And then habang tumatanda po yan, patuloy po natin sila. At para po sa society, gusto ko na rin pong i-address, ang sabi kong vision ko kanina is para po dun sa mga tumanda na naging adults na medyo kinapos or kinulang sa intervention or akmang alalay, I'm praying, no, as a vision na magkaroon din po ng tulong para sa kanila. Pagtulong-tulungan natin, siguro, it's possible, not is impossible already. So, bigyan din po natin ng pagkakataon na magkaroon ng buhay na uguluhan. Natin silang pabayaan na maging liability ng family or ng society. Let's give them that it is their right. Karapatan po nila yan. Karapatan po nila bilang tao na mamuhay sa mundong ito ng kagaya natin.
Thank you so much, Tita Jan. Marami pong salamat. And Teacher Joy Lacson, maraming salamat po for spending time with us this morning. It has been very enlightening and it is very informative to all our parents and to all our teachers. Sa lahat po ng mga magulang at mga guro, it's in our hands. If sa paulit-ulit sinasabi ni Teacher Joy at ni Tita Jan that it is not a hopeless condition. They can be as productive as we are if the support of the family and the community is constant and there for them. Maraming pong salamat for staying with us for another episode of Today with Deped Dasma. Mula po dito sa amin po sa City Schools Division of Dasmariñas, kami po ay nagpapasalamat po sa atin pong mga guests ngayong umaga. Jan and Teacher Joy, maraming pong salamat. At sa lahat po ng mga magulang, estudyante at mga guro na sumubaybay sa isa na naman pong episode ng Today with Deped Dasma. Lahat po ng usapin na may kinalaman sa ating mga mag-aaral at sa ating sistema ng edukasyon ay pag-uusapan natin live today with Deped Dasma. Thank you so much and have a good lunch, everyone. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you, Teacher Joy, Sir Maki. Thank you.
Teacher Joy, I'll see you later pa.